Let's cross live now to Robinder Sachdev, President of the Imagindia Institute in New Delhi. Thanks very much for joining us this evening. Now, first of all, I just want to get your take on New Delhi's response to these reports that India is ready to join Western sanctions on Russia. It seems like India would almost be shooting itself in the foot if it were to do that.
Thank you very much for having me. One, you mentioned that a source in the ministry and the spokesperson of foreign ministry said that India won't go with the caps. In fact, our minister, Hardeep Puri, also has said this, that India would not follow any caps. He has said that India will go as per the markets and our needs. So as of now, all indications are that India is not going along with the $60 cap, which the EU and the G7 are kind of suggesting or kind of putting in place. India is not going forward with that. But yes, I think the talks of this came up because recently, due to the G20, India has been having a bunch of meetings, finance ministers meetings, foreign ministers meetings, etc. So in the backdrop or behind the curtains of those meetings, some of these topics may have come up. We cannot deny that. But from what the Indian government is saying and clarifying and has said that there is no intention of India to go along with the caps. I think what India is doing, India is saying that we'll go with the markets, right? And sure, yes, Russian oil is available at a discount to the market. So India would look at what that discount is and is going ahead and purchasing that oil. And as you said earlier, in February, actually, I think India purchased about 35% of its total crude oil imports from Russia in the month of February.
Now, the EU is set to be considering to lower this price cap in an attempt to undermine Russia's war chest. Do you think that it will do that? And if so, do you think other countries would follow suit, given the energy situation worldwide at the moment?
See, I think even if other countries, it could lower the cap. Countries may not follow the cap which the EU and G7 are suggesting. But I think what it will have an impact is on the overall market prices, right? The overall world price of crude oil, especially Russian oil, would come under pressure because of these factors. I do think so.
Now, how do you think this cap has affected prices on the energy market? And it seems that Russia's just directed its oil elsewhere. How would you say the sanctions have achieved the goals that were intended?
Absolutely on that. I mean, on the one hand, you see, let's take the case study of India, right? I mean, India was buying and continued buying, and in fact started growing the amount we were buying. Before the war, I think we were buying hardly 1% last year, beginning from Russia, and now we are at about 35%. Initially, the West, the US and Europe, they kind of ignored what India was doing because they were too busy with Europe and whatever they were figuring out with respect to Russia. But later on, when they started realizing that India is buying and buying in larger numbers, it actually, I think it struck them, and it's like nothing planned. I think it's an unplanned spillover which happened, that the energy needs of Europe are now being fulfilled via India, especially the refined products, the diesels, the petrol. Supposing this diesel was taken off the market, right? The world market for diesel would have gone somewhere else. So now the US and Europe have realized, with respect to India, that this is working out to be perhaps a good mechanism for Europe to say that they're not buying, the refined products from Russia. In fact, they put a cap on the refined products also now, whereas they're buying the refined products which India is refining from the crude oil of Russia. So they're getting to have their cake also in a way, and still claiming that they are, Europe is at least not buying from Russia.
Well, Robinder Sachdev, thanks very much. You made your thoughts very clear today. Robinder Sachdev, President of the Imagindia Institute in New Delhi, thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.